With New Year's celebrations about to begin, I want to address all Argentines to extend my greetings and share a brief message with you. Tomorrow will mark the first 3 weeks since we took over the leadership of the nation. Since December 10th, we have designed a shock stabilization plan. We have reduced the size of the state, implemented a new doctrine of public order, and promoted more than 500 reforms, among many other initiatives. Some people have been surprised by the number and speed of the measures we have taken. The truth is that they were necessary in order to try to mitigate the effects of the worst legacy in history. These are the first steps to turn the page and leave behind once and for all the economic model of the political class. A model that has plunged Argentines into misery for more than 100 years. A fundamental change from this impoverishing model is a non-negotiable commitment I made to all Argentines. However, the problem we inherited is far too deep. We are talking about an economy with a consolidated deficit of 15 points, with monetary issuance equivalent to 20 points of GDP over the last 4 years, and with artificially suppressed prices in energy and transportation down to as little as 1/5 of their real value. With a central bank that has no reserves, and with inflation that in recent weeks has reached 1.2% per day, which annualized would mean around 7,500% per year. An inheritance that condemns half of Argentinians to poverty, particularly affecting 7 out of every 10 of our children. This is a starting situation even worse than that of 2001 to 2002, which was the worst crisis in our history. Therefore, we are facing a national emergency that requires us to act immediately and decisively, using as many tools as possible, far beyond the resources we have used in these first weeks. I want to be clear about this. Unless we do what is necessary now, we are heading toward an economic catastrophe of a magnitude unknown to any living Argentine alive. That is why we have sent to the National Congress a bill that could well determine the fate of our nation, with the conviction that it will be approved in the coming weeks. We have called it Foundations and Starting Point for the Freedom of Argentines, in reference to Juan Bautista Alberdi, the intellectual author of our first constitution. With his ideas as a guiding light, the national project was carried out, which between the end of the 19th century and the beginning of the 20th century made Argentina the richest country in the world. This law grants the executive the necessary powers to act in the face of this emergency situation and to prevent economic catastrophe, in addition to promoting profound reforms in commercial, tax, productive, social, security, and educational matters, and in all areas of government. The spirit of the law is to become a free country once again, with a limited state that acts in defense of the life, liberty, and property of Argentines. A country where public order is respected. A country where politics does not use the citizens, but rather serves them. Where everyone is free to work, produce, employ, trade, import, and export as they see fit, not as dictated by a bureaucrat from a government office. Who could possibly prefer today's devastated country over the one we propose, the prosperous country that we are proposing? In just a few weeks, when the moment of truth arrives, the deputies and senators of the nation will be faced with two options. They can reject the law and continue with the model that has impoverished us for 100 years. Or they can approve the law to make a profound change and once again embrace the ideas of freedom. Over the past year, I have established a code of honor with the Argentine people. It is better to tell an uncomfortable truth than a comfortable lie. And even though I did not promise them a path filled with roses, but rather one of effort and sacrifice, the vast majority of Argentines responded with their vote. I am going to insist on a harsh truth which I have stated many times. Due to the irresponsible decisions made by recent governments, the coming year will be tough for all of us. But the other certainty I have is that if our program is obstructed by the same people as always, who do not want anything to change, we will not have the tools to prevent this crisis from turning into a social catastrophe of biblical proportions. Avoiding that catastrophic future to which we have been led depends on all of us. It depends on us in the government to work every day to protect Argentines, as we have been doing. It depends on the union and social leaders. who will face the historic responsibility of choosing between the general welfare or the preservation of their personal interests. It depends on the deputies and senators who will be debating in Congress and who will have to choose whether they want to be part of the solution or if they want to continue being part of the problem. And it also depends on the good Argentines who see that we are at a turning point in our history. And they have faith that as a nation we will be able to move forward. That is why I invite all good Argentines to demand from their representatives the approval of this law. The homeland needs it. If all the political, social, union, and business actors in the country understand the historic moment we are living through and support our program, I am sure there will be light at the end of the road. Essentially, our reforms would entail levels of economic freedom that, over a period of 45 years, would allow us to aspire to multiply our GDP per capita by 10, reaching levels similar to those of Ireland, which today is 50% higher than that of the United States. To conclude, I want once again to wish all Argentines a Happy New Year. I hope you can spend it in the company of your family and loved ones. This could be the year we turn around a century of failures. This could be the year we leave behind the collectivist model that made us poor, and once again embrace the model of freedom that made us the richest country in the world. My wish for this new year is that the political leadership abandons its ideological blinders and personal interests, and rises to the occasion so we can quickly move forward with the changes the country needs. Lastly, may God bless the Argentine people and may the strength of heaven be with us. Thank you very much.